Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the book review of one of our own, a businessman, an entrepreneur, and at the same time, an author. He goes by the name Alex Ikpeazu. And with us here, by my right, is our author for today. He's the author of the book Politics and Blood Money and Jennifer, Bewitched Teenager, Part 1 and 2.
Pleasure being here.
And also we have a personality, media personality, an award-winning media personality for AIT and a consultant. He goes by the name Oche Oteno. Thank you for coming, Oche Oteno.
Yes, indeed, an honor to be here.
And also we have a broadcast journalist. Her name is Cheryl Okpesome. If you're looking for, if the word Okpesome in radio station for Nigerian info, she's one of the top-notch people who has made impact in terms of radio and broadcast journalism. Please welcome Somi. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel. Just in case what he says is a bit so means. Lovely to be here. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to start with Somi, please. Somi, you've read the book. So what's
Teenager.
yeah? So what are your own reactions and considered opinion regarding the book?
I think it was a very interesting read in the fact that it tried to highlight a lot of moral issues on morality, the character's purpose in terms of how she was intertwining religion with her career, with her studies, with her relationships. I think it was very interesting to see how she was able to transition, the influence her friend had on her. It was a friend that introduced her, Maka, that introduced her to religion, in the fullest sense of it, and to see how she carried on and just made sure that she imbibed all the moral issues, all of that in all aspects of her life. I think that was interesting to see. Especially in the detail. There's a lot of detailing in all of the process. Everything from, when she first got introduced to Christ and how she would go through the motions every day. There was also the espousing of family values. You could see how close she was to her family. So it made sure to paint a very clear picture in terms of matters of spirituality, morality, and family values. And I think that was one of the more interesting parts of the book for me.
Okay, thank you so much. Oche,
Yes.
what do you so much like about the book, Politics and Blood?
For me, I think it's a superb book. I just kept on reading and diving into the book. I believe the release of the book is very strategic. It came out at a very good time. I remember the story of, the story trending about now. Salome that was killed and beheld, all allegedly though, all in the search for money. And the book coming out, Politics and Blood Money, coming out at this very strategic time, I think is a totally wonderful book.
Okay, let's go back to the author. Sir, you're a successful businessman, an entrepreneur, and also an author. What inspired you to write?
My inspiration comes from societal challenges, things that happen around us. It's one of the major influences that influenced my writing, and particularly on the Jennifer Bewitched Teenager, I conceptualize a situation where people give up very easily because of some challenges. They just give up. But you can see from the book, Jennifer, even though she was deceived and misled by her friend, even though she lost her father when it mattered most, even though the family were enduring poverty, she still consistently strived so hard to succeed. And Jennifer was able to succeed because of the determination and consistent re-evaluation of her position at every given time. And so the intent of the book is to establish the fact that we should never give up, no matter the situation. And the funny part is that when you don't give up and you keep striving despite challenges, you end up one way or the other making it. And then on the blood money, politics and blood money, I did extensive research on that. In fact, the bottom line is that for every disadvantage we suffer, there's double advantage. This is in fact, I don't know how to put it. It's fact. Now, it's our ability to identify the beauty, the advantages that will arise as a result of the challenge we have suffered that makes us to succeed. And so I got inspiration to put this forward to our young people, that rather than striving to make money at all costs, you can make it by consistently taking advantage of the disadvantages in your life.
So what would you consider your greatest strength as a writer?
Abstract reasoning. And in fact, most times I just reason out things and I conceptualize it in my brain and then I put it out there. So it's that abstract reasoning and trying to conceptualize imaginary things and being able to put it together. I think that's keeps me.
Okay, another question for you, sir. Do you recall how your interest in writing originated?
Yes, from my young age. I did so well in my secondary school that I was conscripted by a principal to come and teach in a secondary school. And so I discovered that I was writing, literature I was very good in the subject, and I kept writing all kinds of things. And so eventually I wrote a book, Ogunigwe, at that time. This was about the 70s.
During the war?
No, just after the war.
After the war.
I wrote the book, and surprisingly, most of the schools in my locality were now, acting. Many schools were now acting on it and using it as a drama. And I said, wait a minute. So this little thing I put together, people are, everybody's talking about it. I said, well, maybe I should do more. And then I wrote one or two other poems and things, and I saw elicited a lot of interest. And so I said, wait a minute. And people were saying, now you're a very restless guy. How are you able to sit down and write these things you are writing? But then it was like, so that interest developed. And so when I was studying law in England, my professor, O'Brien, said he likes the way I present my materials. Yeah. Why don't you attempt to write something, like a novel? And I said, well, I used to write novels, but, he said, you will do well. In fact, I commissioned you to write something before you leave this university. And I said, okay. So that was how I wrote Jennifer, Bewitched Teenager, part 1. And this young lady who suffered a lot of challenges, but still rose to make it. So I think that's about it.
Okay, let's go back to our chair. Yes. As an award-winning personality in media space, is there a specific topic that the book Politics and Blood Money deals with?
For me, chapter 1 and 2 are very emphatic. I like what the author did, separating good success and bad success. The fact that for every actions we take, for every move we make, there are consequences at the end. For me, it's just totally wonderful. I like the fact that they also did mention that if you think you get ill wealth, like ill-gotten wealth, you use a crooked means to get money, and then you invest into a positive adventure, you might think that that's the end of it, but there are still consequences at the end, at the very end of our journey in life. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is indeed shocking, because that is basically what plays out in our today's world. So chapter 1 mentions good success and bad success and the need for hard work. And I think our teenagers, the Gen Zs, Gen Alpha, they need these books in our primary schools, secondary schools. I mean, just to know the right path to take. And then the chapter 2 speaks on power, the need to get power the right way. And I like the analysis of what he did with the First Republic, the Second Republic, the Third Republic, and now the Fourth Republic. I mean, it's an absolutely great book for me.
Okay, Daddy, we're going to come back to you now. If you've been remembered for one thing, what would that be?
Advocating aggressively for actualization of good success so that we don't destroy our generations. That's what I want, the impact of what I would really want to be remembered for, advocating for the actualization of good success. Because success, people say, oh, he's a successful man. It doesn't matter if he's a 419 man or if he's a murderer, or people say, oh, he's a successful man. That success, in parentheses, is not a success. It's a destruction of your lineage because things must happen. And then we say, oh, how did it happen? Oh my God, look at what has happened here. But you don't know that the seed has been planted long, because I want to be remembered for advocating for good success. And you can make it. Yes.
Okay, let's go back to Chara. As an outstanding journalist, would you recommend this book to someone, and why?
I would recommend it. I will. And, why, my why would be taking me back to my first response, which, like I said, was the thing that stood out for me in the book. So the storytelling is unique in the way that it tries to incorporate all the realities of the average person's, successful person's life, right? You see the challenges that they're going through, and you see how they surmount it. The issue of values, morals, which are a thing that I would say is quickly being eroded in our society. It puts you in that place where you're able to see all of that at play and see how it does guide Jennifer into becoming the person that she is by the time you get to the last page of the book. And again, that was really important for me. It was a part that I read that struck me. It's like at some point when Jennifer made, when she got her biggest contracts, there's a part that struck me there. It said that despite how happy she was, at some point she was sad. She was sad because the idea of having that amount of money, all at once, all of a sudden, it did have a tendency to set people off on the wrong path. So it struck me a bit when I saw it. I'm like, oh, okay, why? Why would she have been sad? And then having read through it, I'm like, it makes sense that this is there. It just shows the consciousness of, her state of mind to say, I want to be able to continue to be in the right and do the right things despite the fact that all of this success has come. Again, the moral and the value issues, that's one of the reasons why I would recommend the book. And you saw it, it was realistic in the struggle. Up until the last page of the book, you saw her fighting with her matters of the flesh as regards the relationship with the new guy, Ned, as opposed to the issues that she was having with Martins, who didn't want to continue to advance. So many things around how we should be bringing back values. It's the reason why I would recommend it.
Okay, back to your chair. How would you summarize this book in 1 minute? Politics and blood money.
I doubt if I'll be able to do that in 1 minute. But then again, I must say it's an absolutely great book. When you talk about politics, people just want to get power, and most times they don't even mind the ways and means they go by it. And then when you talk about money as well, you hear young adults saying, "Oh, I really don't mind how and whatever source my money comes from, I just want to make it." People want to be successful. But the truth of the matter is, one thing I picked up from the book is we easily forget that for every action we take, for every move we make, there are consequences at the end waiting for us. And the author said something that was very pivotal for me. Sometimes it's not necessarily the person who started the journey that gets the consequences. He did say that up to the third and the fourth generation. And for me, that is absolutely great. If a teenager, a young adult would have this at the back of his mind, a politician would have this at the back of his mind, definitely would love to make good moves and work hard for success.
Okay, Alex Ikpeazu, what's your favorite part of being a writer?
It's the sleepless, the sleepless nights, the exciting sleepless night. You can see the contrast of waking up as a yep, particularly for a busy guy like me. When I wake up at 12 in the midnight or 1 o'clock and I sit down, there's the excitement that flows through me that now it's business. I need to put some of the things I've conceptualized into writing. And then we start typing, writing, and making sure that that's the exciting part of, for me.
Yeah.
That's very exciting because I have it cleared. All my thoughts are now sewed together, and I try to just push on. Because, writing on its own, it's very challenging.
True.
Because you have to be at the top of the game at all the times. You have to remember what you have said in the last 3 chapters. How do you sew it? How do you match it with the current state of writing and so on? So, but it's also the most exciting part. Yes.
It's said that literature is the symbol of hope and truth. So what's your take? What would you advise others who are inspiring to be like you?
Yeah, go for it. You may think you are not writing anything if you want to be a writer. And indeed, if you want to be anything in life, go for it. Wake up, do something, move.
Okay.
Yes.
Sonny, what do you have any contribution to add to the book?
Oh, how dare I? Do you see that work of art? What could I possibly contribute to the book? No, I think Mr. Ikpeazu did a great job in communicating the story, in communicating the message. So yeah, and kudos to you, sir, and well done.
Thank you.
For being able to put that out despite your busy schedule. I couldn't possibly imagine making up time to do what you do as a writer. And my mind is always all over the place. So if I were to attempt to add anything, I'll probably be on writer's block for a couple of weeks. So I'll just leave it as it is.
Okay, Oche, do you have any contribution?
For me, I would suggest these books, both the one she talked about and Politics and Blood Money. I'll suggest that from our secondary schools to our university level, political departments, I think they should buy into books like this. It's an absolutely great book.
So viewers, you've heard of it. This is the book titled Politics and Blood Money and Jennifer the Bewitched Teenager Part 1 and 2. It's Alice literature and treasure, and I advise you all to get it in our bookshops. We have bookshops in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja. You can find it in Rovinite, you can find it in Bookvalley. You can also find it online on online bookshops. Please make sure you get these books. And we'll be closing up for today. Thank you so much for coming, Sami. Thank you so much.